What is the most powerful force multiplier in business and in life? Is it technology? Is it capital? Is it a brilliant idea? Number. The greatest force multiplier in history is a perfectly aligned, high-trust, strategic partnership. It's the power couple, the dynamic duo, the two co-founders who seem to finish each other's sentences and who together build an empire. In theory, 1 + 1 = 2. But in a true power partnership, 1 + 1 = 10 or 100. It is an exponential equation. It is the definition of synergy. This is the dream of partnership that we are all sold. But what is the reality for most of us? In our businesses, our projects, even our marriages. The reality, too often, is that 1 + 1 = 1.5 on a good day. The reality is friction, miscommunication, unspoken competition, ego, arguments over strategy and tactics. You spend more energy managing the relationship than you spend executing the mission. The partnership, instead of being a force multiplier, becomes an energy drain. It is one of the most frustrating experiences a leader can have. To be joined in a common cause with someone and yet to feel completely out of sync. So what is the difference? What is the secret protocol that separates the partnerships that drain energy from the ones that create it? There is a model, a powerful, yet often overlooked case study of a co-founding team from the 1st century whose impact was so profound, they became a hub of innovation and leadership wherever they went. Their names were Priscilla and Aquila. And we are going to deconstruct their business model, not as a story of a nice married couple, but as a strategic framework for building an exponential partnership. They are mentioned only a handful of times in the New Testament, but each mention is like a snapshot into a different part of their highly effective operational protocol. This is the blueprint for how to stop pulling in different directions and start building an empire together. If that sounds like something you need, hit that like button. We're about to synchronize our efforts. We first meet Priscilla and Aquila in the book of Acts, chapter 18. The Apostle Paul, the great startup launcher of the early church, arrives in the city of Corinth. The text says, there he met a Jew named Aquila, a native of Pontus, who had recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because Claudius had ordered all Jews to leave Rome. Let's pause and analyze this introduction. They are not just a couple. They are a single strategic unit. They are highly skilled professionals. The text says they were tent makers by trade, just like Paul. This was a respectable, profitable profession. They owned their own business. They were also resilient and adaptable. They had been forcibly displaced from their headquarters in Rome and had successfully relocated and set up a new operation in Corinth. They were survivors. They were entrepreneurs. Paul, recognizing a shared skill set and likely a shared ethos, went to see them, and because he was a tent maker as they were, he stayed and worked with them. This is the beginning of their partnership with Paul, but it reveals the first and most foundational component of their own internal partnership protocol. Component number 1, a shared, non-negotiable mission that transcends the business. Their business was making tents. That's what they did. That was their revenue stream. It paid the bills. But that was not their mission. Their mission, their why, was to support and grow the burgeoning Christian movement. Their business was the economic engine that funded their life's work. This is a critical distinction that most partnerships fail to make. They agree on a business plan, but they don't agree on a mission statement for their life together. For Priscilla and Aquila, every decision was filtered through this higher mission. When they met Paul, they didn't just see another tradesman. They saw a key strategic player in their shared mission. So they integrated him into their operation. They gave him a place to live and work. Their business became a platform for the mission. When Paul decided to leave Corinth, what did they do? They liquidated their successful Corinthian operation and went with him to Ephesus. Why? Because the mission was moving, and their business was built to serve the mission, not the other way around. This shared why is the ultimate alignment tool. When you and your partner have a mission that is bigger than your mortgage, bigger than your quarterly profits, bigger than your own egos, it simplifies every decision. It eliminates 1,000 potential arguments. The question is no longer, what's in it for me? But, what is best for the mission? If you are in a partnership, this is the foundational work. Have you sat down with your partner and written a one-paragraph mission statement for your life or your business together? Not a business plan, a mission plan. If you haven't, that is your first action item. Now, let's move to the second and perhaps most fascinating component of their protocol. This is where we see their synergy in action. Component number 2, mutually respected, complementary skills. The scene is now Ephesus. A new character arrives, a man named Apollos. The text gives us his resume, and it is impressive. He is a learned man with a thorough knowledge of the scriptures. He spoke with great fervor and taught about Jesus accurately. He was a powerful public speaker. In modern terms, Apollos is a rock star. He is the brilliant, charismatic salesperson who can hold an audience in the palm of his hand. He is a massive asset. But he has a flaw in his knowledge. The text says he knew only the baptism of John. His understanding of the product, the Christian message, was incomplete. He had the passion and the skill, but his data was out of date. Priscilla and Aquila hear him speaking boldly in the synagogue. They see his immense potential, but they also recognize the strategic weakness in his presentation. And what they do next is a masterclass in talent development and partnership execution. The text says, they invited him to their home and explained to him the way of God more adequately. Let's deconstruct this. First, they handle it with immense respect and discretion. They don't correct him publicly. They don't embarrass him. They take him in-house. This builds trust and makes him receptive to feedback. Second, notice the wording. They invited him. They explained to him. This was a joint operation. It wasn't Aquila taking the lead as the man. It wasn't Priscilla taking the lead because she was perhaps the more gifted theologian. It was the two of them, operating as a single, strategic unit to execute a critical talent upgrade. This is the power of a partnership with complementary skills. Perhaps Aquila was the master of building relationships, the one who could graciously invite Apollos without making him feel defensive. Perhaps Priscilla was the brilliant teacher, the one who could articulate the complex theology with precision and clarity. In 6 of the times they are mentioned in the Bible, Priscilla's name is listed first. This is highly unusual in a patriarchal culture, and scholars believe it indicates that she may have been the more prominent leader or teacher of the two. But their effectiveness didn't come from one being better than the other. It came from the seamless integration of their different skill sets. They had audited their respective strengths, and they deferred to each other in their areas of expertise. There was no ego, no competition. There was only the mission to make Apollos as effective as he could possibly be. And the result of their private coaching session? Apollos becomes an even greater asset to the movement. He goes on to Corinth, and the text says he was a great help to those who by grace had believed. For he vigorously refuted his Jewish opponents in public debate, proving from the scriptures that Jesus was the Messiah. Priscilla and Aquila took a high-potential asset and through their joint mentorship turned him into a world-class leader. They didn't just add his talent to the movement, they multiplied it. This is the second key to a power partnership. Do you and your partner have a clear, honest understanding of your respective skill stacks? Have you identified who is the visionary and who is the operator? Who is the public face and who is the chief analyst? When you stop competing and start complementing, your joint output becomes exponential. If this concept is resonating, hit the share button. There's a partnership in your network that needs to have this exact conversation. This brings us to the third and final component of their operational model, the one that truly made them a force multiplier. Component number 3, a shared commitment to investing in others. Priscilla and Aquila's home was not just a place where they lived and worked. In every city they went to, Corinth, Ephesus, Rome, their home became the local headquarters for the Christian mission. The Bible repeatedly refers to the church that meets at their house. Let's translate that. Their home was a startup incubator. It was a training center. It was a strategic hub. It was a platform. Their primary focus was not on building their own personal brand or their own wealth. Their primary focus was on creating an environment where other leaders could be identified, trained, and launched. They didn't just build their own tent-making business. They built an ecosystem of leaders. This is the sign of a truly mature and powerful partnership. It moves beyond self-interest and becomes a generative force for others. The goal is no longer just to succeed, but to create a system that allows others to succeed. They poured their resources, their home, their time, their money, their expertise into the next generation. This is why their influence was so vast. They weren't just a single point of light. They were a nexus, a node in a growing network, empowering dozens of other lights. So what is the practical blueprint we can extract from this powerful, decentralized partnership model? The core principle is this. A true power partnership is a single strategic unit, aligned by a shared mission, executed through complementary skills, and multiplied by a joint commitment to investing in others. It is an incubator for success, not just a vehicle for it. Here is the 3-step Priscilla and Aquila protocol for building your own power partnership. Step 1. Define and document your shared mission. This is the non-negotiable foundation. Sit down with your partner, your co-founder, your spouse, your key collaborator, and answer this question. Besides making money or raising our family, what is the ultimate mission we are trying to accomplish together? What is the why that sits above your day-to-day tasks. Distill it down into a single, powerful paragraph. Write it down. Print it out. This is your constitution. From now on, every major decision you make as a partnership gets filtered through this document. If an opportunity doesn't serve the core mission, you don't pursue it. This document is your ultimate alignment tool. Step 2. Conduct a skills stack audit and assign leads. The next step is to replace unspoken competition with strategic clarity. Each of you, separately, should make a list of your top 3 core competencies. What are the things you are uniquely good at? Then, come together and compare your lists. Be honest. Where are your skills complementary? Where do they overlap? Based on this audit, you formally assign lead roles. For example, in all matters related to financial forecasting and operational efficiency, you are the designated lead. I will defer to your expertise. In all matters related to marketing, communication, and team culture, I will be the designated lead. You are creating a clear organization chart for your 2-person company. This eliminates ego and creates a culture of mutual respect for each other's unique genius. Step 3. Establish an incubator mandate. A partnership that is only focused on itself will eventually stagnate. To become a true power partnership, you must commit to investing in others. As a team, decide on your incubator mandate. This should be a specific, measurable commitment. For example, we will dedicate 10% of our profits to a fund for emerging leaders in our field. Or, we will commit to formally mentoring 1 high-potential individual together each year. Or, we will host a monthly dinner at our home for up-and-coming talent in our community. This act of jointly investing in others is what will transform your partnership from a simple business arrangement into a force for legacy. It shifts your focus from "what can we get" to "what can we build." Let's recap the protocol. 1. Define your shared mission in writing. 2. Audit your skills and assign lead roles. 3. Establish a formal mandate to invest in others. That is the framework that made Priscilla and Aquila so effective. They were a perfectly aligned team, a strategic unit that was constantly building their business, building other leaders, and building a movement. Your partnership has the same potential, but it won't happen by accident. It requires intentional design. So here's your immediate next step. A simple but not easy action item. Schedule a 1-hour meeting with your partner in the next 7 days. Title it Mission Alignment Meeting. And the only agenda item is to complete step 1 of this protocol. To draft that first version of your shared mission statement. That one conversation, that one document, might be the most important investment you ever make in the future of your partnership. It is the first step in moving from addition to multiplication.